Let me ask you this, sir. जो एयरफोर्स ने पाकिस्तान को किया है, and now specifics are coming out. एयर किल का ही काफी कुछ चल रहा है. I don't want to get into specifics. वो सब साइड करते हैं सर. But at a strategic level, 30,000 feet level, आप मुझे बताइए सर. You know, you've spent a long time in the Indian Air Force. If you were to analyze the Pakistani Air Force with the information which is available to you today, sir, where will you place its air power?
You know, the best part is that we don't have to we don't have a chance in hell of assessing Pakistani air power, because Pakistani Air Force does a fantastic job of projecting itself. Well, they have mastered this art.
Yeah.
If you read, there's a book called Fizaya by late Pushpinder Singh. It's a marvelous book written long back, I think with two other foreign authors as well. And there it talks how Pakistan's Air Force has positioned itself and is considered, what should I say, a jewel in the crown of the Pakistani military, at least by the people. The PAF is a darling of the nation, and that is how it has positioned itself. Historically, if you read their, and I have read their actual PAF history, written by their authors, to them, they have always, it doesn't matter what happened to the ground war, PAF has always brought victory to Pakistan. That is their standpoint. They have built on myths, on the number of kills.
Always. 65, 71, always.
They have built this myth of air supremacy, which I have not just me, a lot of people, but I have also in my writings have denounced, and not denounced, I put the facts out to readers. Please read the facts, the numbers and figures. We flew much more than them. We flew more than them, almost more than twice, और वो भी सारे मिशंस उनके टेरिटरी में. तो उनके लॉसेस और हमारे लॉसेस में तो फर्क होगा ही, बट उतना भी खास फर्क नहीं है. फॉर एग्जांपल 65, ours was 59 losses, theirs were 43 losses, when we had flown twice the amount of their flying. So their loss rate was much higher. But they will not go into this. Like, if you go by any air power assessments all over the world with professionals, it is all losses are always seen on loss rates. How much of flying have you done per loss? So the more flying you manage per loss is what your it shows to your advantage of your training and all of other factors. So anyway, but Pakistan has always had this advantage. In 65, they had a gentleman called John Frick, a British author, which interestingly, who offered to write for the Indian Air Force first, but our government, I think, didn't want foreign authors writing for us in 65. So he went and wrote for Pakistan. And obviously, he's built an image. So what happened, what the point I'm trying to make is, Pakistan itself as a nation has deep down, under mein, international world order mein, US and UK has always had a soft corner for Pakistan and especially its military. This is the reality of life. So Pakistani media and authors, they always talked about the air combat skills of Pakistani Air Force based on what they have been fed by the Pakistanis. Indian authors, एक तो हमारे बहुत कम लिखने वाले थे, अब शुरू हुआ है. And nowadays, of late, we have a lot of people writing, researching, debating, talking air power.
Yes, sir.
जो पहले था, तो पुरानी बातें अब निकल रही है. 47 में क्या हुआ, 62 में क्या हुआ, 65 में क्या हुआ, 71 में क्या हुआ, कारगिल में क्या हुआ, बालाकोट में क्या हुआ. So these facts are all coming out, and along with these facts, one fact which is emerging and which is something which Indian Air Force has been understated in, is that it did a fairly good job. We have always delivered, and इस बार भी in a kind of operation जो कहीं लिखित नहीं था, इतना तो एयरफोर्स को क्रेडिट देना होगा कि इट हैड विजुअलाइज्ड सच अ सिचुएशन एंड इट्स एम्प्लॉयमेंट, एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली हाउ दिस ऑपरेशंस वेंट थ्रू. सो दैट इज एनॉर्मस. द प्रॉब्लम इज जो एयरफोर्स का विजन है, it is not very well known. It is only today drones. We had killer drones, of जो बोलते हैं ना, suicide drones in our inventory for more than a decade. We have done things. Our integration of ISCCS of air defense is more than a decade old. It's tested and proven in Balakot, post Balakot activation. Fantastic performance. It's great that the army is now plugged into it.
Yes.
So these are the improvements which will get better and better with time as the services come together. But the point Joe I'm trying to make, it is not about Air Force is top this or that and this. ये कि Air Force does its things quietly.
हाँ. So sir, I mean
ये
Pakistan.
सबसे बड़ी बात.
हाँ, वो तो दिख रहा है sir. Literally, I mean, honestly, when this drone started coming in, it shocked everyone. The way the air defense system worked, and जिस तरह से. So that was like, आंधे मारेंगे, this, that, that Josh was there, even in the people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think what really changed the game was, of course, the 9th and 10th. And जिस तरह से उसके बाद photographs आई, and when we saw those holes, and we saw that, I don't think किसी को इतना आइडिया था, in spite of the fact कि वो युद्ध अभ्यास होता है, उसके वीडियोस बनते हैं, उसके रील्स बनते हैं, सब कुछ होता है. But when we actually saw the videos that the Pakistanis were clicking, जो खींच रहे थे ये लोग, और जो वीडियोस बना रहे थे, जो फोटोएं खींच रहे थे, then people started realizing, oh bloody hell, ये तो बहुत ही जबरदस्त चीज है. I think that was, तो ये एक छोटा डिस्प्ले ना हर 10-15 साल में होना चाहिए सर, मेरे हिसाब से at least.
No, interesting as a display. I think Air Force does every
Yes sir.
alternate year. Pokhran में. This is firepower demonstration,
Yes,
which used to be earlier called now. And but yes, it is the first time you are seeing those are training. These are live shots.
Live shots. Sir,
but you mentioned one very interesting. I'll just take 2 minutes here.
Please, sir.
Very interesting thing that hitting this target was a surprise. Frankly, to me also it was a surprise. I mean, I was absolutely with all my thinking, didn't see it happen so quickly. But then I analyzed, and there's a reason to it. But look at how our government reacted. After the first 9 targeting, PAF was under pressure to do something. Fact of it was our air defense, and as well as their air defense had today, we have something which again I was talking about in the doctrine, offensive air defense. हमारे air defense actually का projection, जो reach होता है, पहुंच होता है, both vertically and range wise, depth wise, horizontally, is deep into enemy territory. That means पुराने ख्यालात से हम बोलते हैं ना एयर डिफेंस, तो डिफेंसिव नहीं रहा. पुराने ख्यालात में we had to target an adversary once he crosses the border. हमारे रेडार की रीच उतनी थी. Now I am seeing him well inside. I can shoot him down over his airspace. So air defense has actually become an offensive weapon. It forced the PAF back. So PAF's offensive capability, जो इसने काफी देर से इसने प्रोजेक्ट किया हुआ था, that offensive defense capability है आजकल पाकिस्तान का, and that is the new approach, that has been proven ineffective because they have not been able to attack us. So what have they done? Lightweight drone attacks from close to the border. Few drones armed with bombs close to the border. But it has not been able to reach inside because of our air defense coverage, which was a part of the IF's and the nation's strategy in no war, no peace conditions. So इसमें important बात ये है कि once they hit our targets, notice the targets. Among civilian targets, they also hit our airfields. That was PAF's doing. To hit and create confusion and damage in our airfields to deter our air force from doing anything more. हमने क्या किया? When you hit an airfield, technically आपने एक military target को मारा. Military target targeting is an act of war. But हमने इस पे we again exercised restraint, gave within the escalatory ladder में हमने उसमें भी कंट्रोल करके we have hit their targets larger in number, more in number, depth and scale, but not with mass, with little targeting in each. सबके थाली में थोड़ा थोड़ा प्रसाद दिया है कि भैया ये तो स्टार्टर है, मेन कोर्स बाकी है. So I think that message went across that we could do this with impunity, and we have the advantage of scale and mass behind us, which will follow. Should you now try and take this higher? That was a fantastic piece of, I think, modern day targeting. You've said, Baki log, it has changed the dynamics entirely in the world of how air power is being looked at.
Yeah.
Trust me, after a long time, Indian air power will become a center or at least the focus of study. And a lot of facts will come out. Yes, most certainly there would have been mistakes and limitations. But that's there. The fact is, outcomes it has created.
That's the fun of it.
That is the main. That is the main thing.
Yeah, having everything and getting everything is not a superb this thing. You have everything.
That doesn't guarantee military success.
It doesn't actually.
Look at the US.
It doesn't, sir. Sir, when we look at, I wanted to actually bring this in. Everybody talks about, hamare ko fifth generation hona chahiye. And the biggest question right now is that, Pakistan is getting the J-35, fifth generation fighter. And पूरा उसके ऊपर तमाशा है कि भाई वो तो अब तो भैया इंडियन एयरफोर्स इज डन, अब तो खत्म हो जाएगा. What, see, one, is it so? That is point number one. Dusra, sir, this whole China's air force, which is, I was speaking to somebody who said कि यार Pakistani air force नहीं है, वो Chinese air force है. Please understand, you were fighting the Chinese air force and you were fighting the Turkish involvement in the Chinese air force sort of a thing. So please understand this very carefully. So I said F-16s. He said F-16s ठीक है, but please understand पूरा network तो China का है, so you're fighting that.